There was once a man named David, a middle-class father living in a modest town. Like many others, he followed the familiar path, working a stable 9-to-5 job, paying the bills, and saving whatever little he could. But deep down, David knew something wasn't right. Despite all his hard work, wealth always seemed out of reach. One day, while helping his son with homework, David stumbled upon a life-changing realization. The wealthy don't work harder, they work smarter. This thought stuck with him, and he decided to make a bold move. Instead of saving for a bigger house or the next family vacation, David started investing, first in stocks, then in real estate. He learned everything he could about making his money work for him. At first, the returns were slow, almost invisible, but David stayed patient. Over time, his investments began to grow. Small wins turned into bigger wins. His once single paycheck was now being multiplied by multiple streams of income: rental properties, stock dividends, and a small side business he had started from home. Years later, David found himself in a position most middle-class families never dream of: financial freedom. He could spend time with his family without worrying about bills. But it wasn't magic. It was the result of smart financial decisions, living below his means, and consistently building wealth, one step at a time. David had broken free from the middle-class trap, not by working more hours, but by letting his money work for him. What if I told you that the middle-class dream is a lie? Yes, it's comforting, but it's also the very thing keeping most families stuck. If you're watching this, chances are you're tired of merely getting by. You want more: financial freedom, a legacy, and wealth that lasts. But there's a hard truth that most people don't want to hear. The middle class wasn't designed to get rich. But here's the good news: you can escape it. Today, I'll show you the only path that'll take you from middle class to wealthy. Stick with me until the end, because missing any step could mean staying stuck in the rat race. Let's dive in. First, let me ask you, have you ever wondered why money seems to come easier to some people? Is it a magical formula? Nope. It's actually much simpler than you think. Ready? Let's break it down. The middle class works for money, but the wealthy? They let money work for them. Let me say that again. The middle class is trained to earn. The wealthy are trained to own. Think about it. How many times have you heard, "Get a good job, save, and retire at 65"? Sound familiar? This is exactly how the middle class trap begins. But what if I told you that no one ever saved their way to riches? Here's the reality. Wealthy families focus on acquiring assets, things that appreciate in value: real estate, businesses, stocks. These are the pillars of wealth. If you're stuck in a job only earning a paycheck, you're not building wealth. You're renting your life out hour by hour. Imagine working for 40 years, only to retire and realize you've barely accumulated enough to survive, let alone thrive. That's the trap so many middle-class families fall into. It's terrifying, isn't it? But here's the exciting part. What if you could begin owning things instead of just working for them? What would that look like? Here's the secret. Your money should be doing more work than you. Sounds impossible, right? But let me ask you, what's your money doing right now? Is it sitting in a savings account, earning maybe 1% interest a year? That's not wealth building. That's stagnation. The wealthy invest their money so it grows while they sleep. Whether it's through the stock market, bonds, or real estate, the key is compounding. Albert Einstein called it the eighth wonder of the world for a reason. When you put your money in the right places, it grows exponentially over time. And no, your couch doesn't count as the right place for your money, unless you're hiding a treasure map under the cushions. Imagine waking up in the morning knowing that, while you were sleeping, your investments were working for you. The freedom that brings, the ability to make decisions not based on fear, but on opportunity, that's what we're aiming for. How do you find the right opportunities? That's where it gets interesting. Let's talk income. The middle class often relies on a single source, their job. But here's a harsh reality. Relying on one income is risky, and it limits your potential. The wealthy, they create multiple streams of income, from side businesses, dividends, rental income, or even digital products. They diversify. Now, quick question. Have you ever seen a river with only one stream? Neither have I. And that's the point. The more streams you create, the more cash flow you generate, the closer you get to financial independence. Picture this. You lose your job unexpectedly. Scary, right? But what if you already had two or three other income streams working for you? Suddenly, that panic turns into control. That's the power of diversification. But how do you start creating these streams? Let me show you. Now, this might be the hardest pill to swallow. Everyone wants to enjoy life, nice cars, fancy vacations. But here's the truth. The rich get rich because they live below their means, especially in the early stages. The money they save, it goes into investments, creating more wealth. Many middle-class families fall into the trap of lifestyle inflation, spending more as they earn more. But that's exactly how you stay middle class. What happens when a recession hits or a major financial emergency arises? That fancy car payment won't save you. Your investments will. So, how do the wealthy avoid these traps and still enjoy life? Let's talk about the final key. Here's the final truth. The wealthy don't just think about the next year or two, they think about the next generation. Building wealth is about more than just living well in your own lifetime. It's about leaving a legacy that continues to grow even after you're gone. Imagine the freedom of knowing your children and even their children will have the financial foundation you've built. That's wealth on a generational level, and it's within your reach as long as you follow the path we've outlined today. But there's one more thing you need to know before we wrap up. So, there you have it. The only way to get rich as a middle-class family. Shift your mindset from earning to owning. Make your money work for you. Create multiple income streams. Live below your means and focus on building a legacy. These steps are the foundation of true wealth. Now, it's your move. Want to dive deeper into how you can build wealth through investing? Check out my video on mutual funds. It's packed with strategies to grow your money the right way. Don't miss it.